Good morning. Welcome everyone to the First Unitarian congregation in Ottawa. Whether you are here in Worship Hall or watching from wherever you may be, you are welcome to our annual flower celebration. If you are a newcomer or simply didn't bring a flower today, there are still others available for you to pick up at the welcome table behind the pews. We will bring them forward early in our worship time and make a bouquet here together. I'm the Reverend Eric Meter, this congregation's lead minister. This morning I'm joined by our worship associate Kate, who is one of the fabulous backup singers behind me. And Kirk is leading our music again this morning. Our young ones are beginning their morning here helping to clean up our grounds before they will join us later in our time together to help to distribute the flowers we will have brought together this morning. So without further ado, let us begin by joining our voices in song. Please rise as you are willing and able as we sing together, Morning Has Broken, which you'll find is number 38 in your gray hymnal.
Good morning and welcome again this beautiful day. Welcome to the First Unitarian Congregation of Ottawa. My name is Kate and I'm delighted to be your worship associate this morning. Whether you're taking part in this worship celebration from your home or wherever else you may be or wherever you log on, whenever you log on, you are welcome. We acknowledge that our FirstU campus is located on traditional, unsurrendered, and unceded Algonquin Anishinaabe territory, and that the work of reconciliation is the work of our congregation and of all Canadians. Our goal is to educate ourselves and to all those that have the willingness to understand, to be of service to those who are at risk, and to advocate for justice. Do take care and take advantage of online opportunities at FirstU to stay in touch. Lots of activities still are online. If you're new to FirstU and would like to learn more about us, please contact us through our email, which is welcome@firstunitarianottawa.ca. If you are right here in Worship Hall with us this morning and you would like more information about FirstU, it's available at the welcome table at the back of the pews. And now here's Amy from our board to highlight our announcements for today.
Thank you, Kate. Good morning, everybody. And I've lost my space. Here we go. No, I've really lost my spot. Just give me 1 second. It's really big. Okay. So first announcement is that originally there had been a picnic today. Unfortunately, it's been canceled for the celebration. There will still be cake and a little smaller celebration in Fellowship Hall after the service. The next announcement is that the Swinging Syrians concert went really well. It was on Sunday of last week. They had a 15-piece swing band and a silent auction. No, that was last week. I'm sorry. Let me try again. Hi, everybody. Sorry. Yes, so together with Or Hanashama, the Swinging for Syrians event raised $12,500. Well done. And a special thank you to everybody who helped and made it a success. And our third announcement is please join Guy and Casey and others for the games night next Friday at 7 p.m. in the Now Room. And it says especially under 45 are welcome, and we hope to see you there. Oh, I'm sorry. And Donna Bowenwiller from the Environmental Action Group has an announcement. Sorry.
She was going to come anyway. Okay, so I'm Donna Bowenwiller from the Environmental Action Group, yes. So tomorrow's the big day. The EAG really hopes we can get a good group of FirstUs out to join us. And there'll be more than a dozen well-known environmental groups as well to make this protest tomorrow a day to remember. So bring your posters. There's an art build this afternoon if you want help doing that. Or if not, make your own. And then we can help deliver the petition signed by more than 20,000 people, including some of you, I hope, and raise your voices to affirm the need to achieve the promise we reach 100% clean energy by 2035, renewable clean energy, and make sure it's for everyone, not just the wealthy. Meet us at Parliament Station, which is at Queen and O'Connor at 11:40 tomorrow morning. Or if you missed that date, look for the FirstU banner on Parliament Hill at noon. And if there's any questions, ask Mike or me. And ask Mike about his birthday climate concert. That was fun. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Donna. Usually it's Phil Nagy at this time giving a renewal program update, and it's me, but Phil gave me content, and it was at the renewal program fundraiser that Kirk was instigated. Our singers came. It was a wonderful night of song and music. We watched the short French film The Red Balloon, and Kirk accompanied the whole thing with a selection of French piano music he put together himself. And at the beginning of that, Phil said, and I'm close to quoting now, "In the golden age of church fundraising, one of my predecessors just got up and talked, and talked, and talked, and talked, and talked, until the checks started coming down. He kept talking. He kept talking. I don't know when he stopped, but he did stop at some point. The funds were raised. This was to buy plane tickets for a refugee's family. Important work. One of the two that had been staying here for over a year in sanctuary. The renewal program has more modest goals than family reunification. It began with a two-part project to replace the aged balcony, the fencing there to keep us from falling over. We think it's safe for another year, but we know that we need to upgrade the AV tech. The cameras that Julia so expertly advises were cutting edge in 1987. And if you've noticed, and if you are online, you are noticing that if we don't have a reliable streaming presence, we are not fulfilling our mandate in this day and age. So it's time to upgrade. It's time for better equipment that is simpler and easier to use. Just before the Friday night event, I talked to my wife and said, "How much do you think we can give to this?" The answer was $500. We've raised to date, I think, a little over $31,000. We need at least 35. We are very, very close. If you haven't contributed, please correct that error to the amount that you can. And if you've already contributed, think about contributing again. Thank you. Amy?
Sorry about that. Okay, thank you. So we encourage you to sign up to receive the UU. It's our weekly email newsletter, and you get it on Fridays. And check out Facebook and Instagram, like them, subscribe, etc. And look at our website if you need notices or updates. Our calendar continues to be as full as ever. Though global health challenges continue, most of our activities still continue and often take place online. Whatever your heritage, whatever your faith, whomever you love and however you identify, today you are part of our spiritual community. Welcome.
Thanks again, Amy. To begin this morning's reflection on flowers and people who love them, we light our chalice this morning to these words of welcome from Suzelle Lynch. The flame we will kindle in the chalice of faith holds blessings of warmth and light and a life-giving energy. It shines forth a beacon to guide us all home. It lights up our longings to connect and to share. It possesses the power to shape a world where equity and compassion reign supreme. May this warmth and light and life-giving energy celebrate the blessings we have claimed and help us extend them in hands and hearts that offer these blessings to all. Our chalice is lit. Come, let us worship together. And when I say worship together this morning, I mean, as Kirk plays for us, let us bring our flowers together and create together a bouquet like none other. Again, if you did not bring a flower, there may still be some back at the welcome table. If you need some assistance, just raise your hand. I or someone else will help bring your flower forward. Let's do this. Let me consecrate these flowers. You have done it. This is just the formal doing it. With the words at which they were originally consecrated, translated into English now, 100 years ago today. These words from Norbert Čapek. Infinite Spirit of life, we ask thy blessing on these, thy messengers of fellowship and love. May they remind us, amid diversities of knowledge and of gifts, to be one in desire and affection and devotion to thy holy will. May they also remind us of the value of comradeship, of doing and sharing alike. May we cherish friendship as one of thy most precious gifts. May we not let awareness of another's talents discourage us or sully our relationship, but may we realize that whatever we can do, great or small, the efforts of all of us are needed to do thy work in the world. I can go there. Oh, we're good. We planned that, folks. We planned that. Each week, if you've been around, you know, we pause in our time together in recognition of both the joy and the sorrow in our lives and across the globe. We honor our celebrations and challenges by placing a single little stone in a small bowl of water. You can see how the water ripples, and we can imagine, if we can, I think we can, the ripples extending out through the pews, out the doors, past the windows, bringing more ripple than the wind to the leaves outside, extending our compassion and our care to the world beyond us all. A stone of appreciation for Kirk and all the singers at Friday night's event. It was a beautiful, if a little sweltering evening. A large stone of concern now for the wildfires that have been raging east and far west of us. The effects of climate change are very real and ever present. And a stone of appreciation for the work our own Chuck Shields has done as president of the Canadian Unitarian Council. Chuck's term of office is over, but our appreciation remains. Chuck, thank you. Well done. And a final stone, as always, for all the joys and sorrows that remain in the silent sanctuary of our hearts. A caring card for Chuck is at the back of the hall in our caring table. Even if you haven't met Chuck yet, sign it. It's an expression of our appreciation for all that he has done to keep this congregation and our movement here in Canada as truly vital as it is. And now, a moment of stillness and quiet contemplation before Kirk invites us back once more with the gift of music. Reverend Ellen, would you come forward? I'm going to take my mask off because I'm going to be yakking here. You can take yours off or keep yours on as you will. It's always a bit of a discovery, and sometimes anxious discovery, who the other clergy are in the congregation new incoming ministers are gonna face. How am I going to get along with them? Will I like them? Will they let me do my job, or will they try to take over? Ellen, I took over from you, but I can't take over from you. In the back, I mentioned the caring card for Chuck. There is a card as well for Ellen. Many of you have signed it. Can we bring it forward now? Is someone willing to do that? Yes, please. Bring it here, bring it here, bring it here. In the immortal words of someone I don't remember the name of, come on down. You see this? There's a halo. There's a halo, right? I have been so impressed when we were both sitting up there with your humor, your near infinite capacity for deep listening, for compassion is unparalleled in my experience. We miss you. We love you. Keep coming to church. We'll get those rides coming. I'm going to give this to you now. We have cake during coffee hour, and we will get to that momentarily. There may be some more people who want to sign it then. This is one of two gifts for you. This is a very small appreciation. You want to open it now?
You want me to?
Sure. This is a chalice
Oh my,
in your color purple
oh my,
from our own Donna.
that's beautiful.
And we'll get a candle for that. The minister forgot. This minister forgot. We'll put it back for now. Thank you.
Cherish that.
Yes. We'll hold it here. We'll get it for you later.
Okay.
Thank you, Ellen.
Thank you.
Well, it may not have been her job title. Ellen has been the heart of this community for more years than I can count. The capacity of this congregation to care and to laugh is in large part because of you, Ellen. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And now I think we have a gift of music for Ellen and us all.
Eric, if the congregation feels inspired to, they can join us. They'll know.
Kirk is telling me, folks, because the song that the choir is going to do is one we sang as a hymn last Sunday. If you remember it and know it and want to sing along, you are more than welcome.
You were anything
Two things before I start my reflection. The first is, Ellen, there was another song that you had requested for that piece. It turned out to be a little more difficult than we anticipated. We'll get to it. We'll get to it. And the second, I was introduced to that song, How Can Anyone, during my chaplaincy as part of my seminary work, preparation for this role. It was at San Francisco General Hospital in San Francisco, California. I was working on the inpatient AIDS ward, and the chaplaincy program I was part of, Sojourn Chaplaincy, would have weekly vespers, and that's where I was introduced to that song. I can't help but remember those days and those men, primarily men, in the years before antiretrovirals. It always gets me. And now I have Ellen to think of it in terms too, so that's a happy thought. 100 years used to seem longer to me than it does now. Getting older day by day changes our perspective, doesn't it? And for those of you under the age of 40, just bear with me. Now, don't get me wrong, 100 years in human terms is a good amount of time. Lots can and does happen every 100 years. 3, give or take, generations are born. People learn their ABCs, they fall in love, they get their hearts broken, they fall in love again. Children are born, knees are skinned, and in time, people die. The circle of life, I hear it's called. All this is a bit of prelude for a bit of history this morning, because as mentioned earlier, today, June 4th, marks the centenary of Reverend Norbert Čapek's flower ceremony. In our faith tradition now, what we'll do today, what we're in the midst of doing, is often called a flower communion, though Čapek would never have called it that. Actually, he called it a flower celebration. They still do. Intentionally, that was his intention. He wanted it to sound non-religious, even in his native Czech tongue. Yes, Czech. Čapek was the minister of the Unitarian congregation in Prague, where the church remains as vital today as it ever was. Raised Catholic in Bohemia, and after converting to baptism at the age of 18, at the dawn of the First World War, Čapek fled to the United States. And there he first encountered and warmed to the Unitarian faith. After the end of the war, he returned to Prague, where he and his wife Maya founded the Liberal Religious Fellowship in Prague, a congregation that was informally known as Unitaria. This was a community with many disaffected former Catholics, Protestant, and Jews. So religious trappings were excluded. They were not to be part of the space. Čapek wore no stole, just a suit. There were no crosses or other representations of religious figures or icons. His addresses on Sunday morning were more lecture than sermon. Yet Čapek knew how meaningful ritual can be, and he knew how important beauty was to everyone. So on the last Sunday of May in the spring of 1923, he asked his congregation members of his congregation to each bring a flower with them the following Sunday. And as tradition has it, they asked, "What kind?" "Any flower you like," he replied. "Well, why?" "I'll tell you next week. Come on, bring a flower. How hard can it be?" And so, as legend has it, a new practice was born, the flower ceremony. Earlier in our time together, we created a bouquet of color and scent. Oops. Later in our time this morning, our young ones will help pass the flowers back among us so we can each take a different flower home with us than the one we brought with us this morning, symbolizing, at least in part, we do not always know to whom we give, and we do not always know from whom we receive. It's a simple, sweet sort of thing and can leave a bit of a mess at the end. But the smiles it brings to our faces are worth it. This is what it means to be part of a community of faith. Together, we give to one another. Together, we receive from what may often seem like a chaotic menagerie. The thing is, each time we gather, each Sunday or at any other time during the week, we create a bouquet. Each time we gather, we also create a bouquet. I see it every week. I'm looking at it now and I can't see the flowers. It's the faces. It's you. Look at each other. You're beautiful. Do you realize that? Do you see it? Do you see it? You're beautiful. I'm the minister. It's true. It has to be true. Believe me. The flowers before us simply remind us of that fact. You are the bouquet of this community, whether you're here or online, each and every week, each and every day. And for those of you who haven't been around for earlier flower ceremonies, we also remember Norbert Čapek because of what came later for him. As what became the Second World War began, he was invited back to the States for safety's sake. And while his wife, Maya, also a Unitarian minister in her own right, made the trip back, Norbert chose to remain in Prague, where he preached using Czech folk tales as references, so the German intelligence officers who regularly attended Sunday worship at Unitaria wouldn't understand his points. They weren't raised on Czech legends, though his congregation would understand completely. Yes, it can be helpful to maintain a distinct culture from the 800-pound gorilla just below your nation's border. But the Nazis persevered, ultimately arresting both Čapek and one of his daughters in March of 1941 for listening to foreign broadcasts, a capital offense. He was imprisoned and later transferred to the concentration camp in Dachau, where he was gassed late in 1942. 100 years ago today, on the first Sunday morning of June in 1923, as in all but one Unitarian congregations across the world, there may have been flowers at the worship space at this congregation's previous location on Elgin Street downtown, but there was no flower ceremony that morning like we're practicing today. Still, each and every week in that stone edifice, there was a bouquet of faces on display. The faces of those striving to make the most of their days, raising families, sharing hard-earned wisdom, enjoying one another's company, or being a little nervous as a first-time attendee. Still, everyone there at our space on Elgin Street was there for a reason, at least one, just like today. 1 month later, in early July of 1923, roughly 450 kilometers north and a little east of Prague, a woman was born in what is now Kornik, Poland, who would later win the Nobel Prize for Literature. Her name was Wisława Szymborska. I don't think I've preached Szymborska before. Do you know her? Ooh, good. Education. One of Szymborska's poems features the number 100. Oh, and she won the Nobel Literature Prize in '96. You can look her up. We'll talk about her more in coming Sundays. One of her poems features the number 100, though while she uses that number quite differently than as a way of counting the years, I think a timeless universality shines through. Here is Szymborska's poem, A Contribution to, of all things, Statistics, as translated from the Polish into English. Out of 100 people, those who always know better, 52. Who doubt every step, nearly all the rest. Glad to lend a hand if it doesn't take too long, as high as 49. Always good, because they can't be otherwise, 4. Well, maybe 5. Able to admire without envy, 18. Suffering illusions induced by fleeting youth, 60, give or take a few. Not to be taken lightly, 44. Living in constant fear of someone or something, 77. Capable of happiness, 20-something tops. Harmless singly, savage in crowds, half at least. Cruel when forced by circumstances, better not to know even ballpark figures. Wise after the fact, just a couple more than wise before it. Taking only things from life, 30, I wish it were more. Hunched in pain, no flashlight in the dark, 83, sooner or later. Righteous, 35, which is a lot. Righteous and understanding, 3. Worthy of compassion, 99. Mortal, 100 out of 100. Thus far, this figure still remains unchanged. And for today, I might only add those who have loved flowers at some point during their time, all who are not allergic. We are all more human than otherwise, beautiful, imperfect, not everything, simply who and what we are, striving to make as much sense of it all as we can, living as respectfully, as lovingly as we know how. Did I say beautiful? Like the impromptu bouquet we've created this morning, like the bouquet you've always been. Look around, look around, look around. So may it be. Amen.
This congregation has a long history of care, vitality, and bringing people together to move the arc of justice forward. We have been able to live into our hopes and dreams because of the generosity of those within and beyond this community. Whether you are here in Worship Hall or anywhere else, you are part of this community. To make a gift in support of the work of this congregation, you don't need to use the baskets that are now beginning to make their way among our pews. Wherever you are invited to go to our website or contact our finance manager to find out how to make a donation or keep up with your pledge. Our gifts are freely given and gratefully received. We dedicate these gifts to the work of this community of faith, serving human wholeness, caring for the planet, upholding religious freedom, welcoming the stranger, and loving one another. Now, as our choir moves forward, we're about to sing together once more. In honor of Norbert Čapek, please rise in body or spirit as you're able as we sing Chant for the Seasons, which is based on a Czech folk tune. You'll find it as number 73 in the gray hymnal. Normally, we might sing this at the start of a season. Right now, we're between spring and summer. We had a blast of summer. We're back to spring today. We're going to sing both of those verses. First, the spring verse, which is number 3, and then the final one for summer, which is number 4.
And now, our young ones are here to help us out, to share the love, to return the flowers to each and every one of you. I see someone, a young girl, leading adults and teens. Always, yet the young ones lead. It's the wisest course of action. I did say it was a bit of a lovely mess, didn't I? Oh, hold them up. Let's everyone take a look. Not too shabby. All right, the garden is here too. All right. Before we begin to close this time of worship and reflection, before we go in there and share cake, I've never had cake with you guys. I am known as the cake guy. Maybe I've been losing weight because I haven't shared it much with you. Where I've served, it turns out wherever I've served, the word cake is always said with an exclamation point. And after nearly 2 years here, it's high time. Thank you for the excuse, Ellen. A reminder that cake and coffee hour will resume in Fellowship Hall immediately after the service. From those watching from home, an informal online fellowship hour will begin at noon. You can find the link in our church website or in Friday's weekly newsletter, the EUU. And also, as always now, leafy greens, courtesy of the good folks of Ajaski, are available for any who would like to take some home in the old volunteer room out near Fellowship Hall. Now, as we prepare to extinguish our chalice this morning, may these words, adapted only slightly from Galway Canal, be our guide. These buds that you now hold stand for all things, even those things that don't flower. For everything flowers from within, though sometimes it is necessary to remind a thing of its loveliness. Did I tell you earlier that you are all beautiful? You are all exquisitely lovely? This morning's chalice is extinguished. The spark of our connections and faith remains. Kirk, singers, will you bless us once more? If you would also reach out to those near and beyond. We are people of both reason and heart, of both memory and hope. May we also always remain people of love, providing a place in this world for our spirit, a place that can best be called home. As we return to the challenge of helping the world come alive in love, let me say, go in peace, my friends. Go in peace.